Hey, what's up guys? This is Rich with Red Phone Video here, and today I'm going to talk to you about these two new releases that I just got in from Umbrella Entertainment. And if you guys don't know about Umbrella Entertainment, they're pretty much, a boutique label based out of Australia. And they put out some awesome releases. And so I'm going to talk about these two, and, I'm going to talk about Super Mario Brothers first, because this is just a huge box set. I mean, for people who say that physical media is dead, it's not true. Because when you think about Super Mario Brothers, this movie should not have gotten the release that it got. I mean, this is just crazy. That's crazy. I mean, look at all this shit. So I'm going to put the Hitcher out of the way for a second. We'll talk about the Hitcher in the latter part of this video. But first, I want to talk about Super Mario Brothers, the Trust the Fungus edition. So, with this box, this is the 30th anniversary edition of this, by the way. And it's currently out of stock, and it was going for like $100. And I wasn't going to get it, but since Disney owns this, I'm pretty sure, here in the States, I figured, this is a 4K, it's region free, so go ahead and pick it up and never buy it again. Basically, because I mean, why would you buy this movie again? First off, I don't even really like the movie that much. I do have sort of a nostalgic fondness for this movie, but this is the ultimate edition. So if somehow they do release this movie in the States, I'm not going to pick it up, because this is just the ultimate edition. And like I said, physical media is not dead, guys. I mean, this thing right here, I'll be honest, it's way too big. It's way too big. It reminds me of that Dawn of the Dead box set that Second Sight put out. But of course, that warranted that box set. This movie, I feel like they gave it just better treatment than it deserves. But for collectors out there, I mean, it's awesome. But anyway, let's get a look at the stuff that's inside. So you get the 4K, you get 2 Blu-rays, and you get like books, you get like a film cell, you get posters, stickers, art cards, all that good stuff, slip cases, and this rigid outer box. So I mean, it's a fucking large package, guys. I mean, this book right here, I believe it's like 250 pages, something like that. But it's basically a collection of behind the scenes experiences and art. So I'll just give you guys a peek into this. But like I said, I do have a fondness for this movie. I don't think it's that great, and I don't think a lot of people do. But Bob Hoskins, if you're a fan of Bob Hoskins like I am, I mean, this was like when he was coming off that heat, from the late 80s, after he did like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And of course, John Leguizamo, he was good in it. And, I remember when I watched this movie as a kid, I was like, what the fuck am I watching? Because, you grew up playing the video game. I mean, this was nothing like it at all. It didn't look like it, and I still haven't seen the new movie yet with Chris Pratt, but I don't know. Some people seem to like that movie, and I've heard some negative reception on the new Mario Brothers movie. But anyway, I can't go through this whole book, guys, but you get the point. This is all like behind-the-scenes stuff, and probably how they designed a lot of the creatures and the special effects. But, yeah, that is Mario Brothers. And, I mean, when this movie came out, I just, I'll be honest, I did not like it. But the older I got, I've just kind of appreciated it for what it is. Because, I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people talk shit about this movie, especially the people that were involved in it. Like, Bob Hoskins hated the whole experience. And, I can't blame him. He does a great job in the movie, though. And a lot of people just know Bob Hoskins from this and, of course, Roger Rabbit. But I'm a huge fan of Bob Hoskins. Like, if you go back and watch his movie, like The Long Good Friday and Mona Lisa, Bob Hoskins is just the shit. And I watched him recently in a movie called Shattered, too. And he's just a really good character actor. He was. Rest in peace, Bob Hoskins. But here you have some art cards, and or lobby cards, whatever you want to call them. I'm just going to strip the bra off this big girl here, and we'll get a look at them. So you got Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Bob Hoskins again, So yeah, Dennis Hopper. You know, Dennis Hopper, he hated the experience of this movie too. I was reading some interview where he said, you know, he did it just to get his kids some new shoes or something. But, you know, Dennis Hopper was, he was another guy that was, you know, basically just coming off all this heat that he had in the mid-'80s when he got back into acting, you know. Because, you know, Dennis Hopper, I mean, he was in Blue Velvet, and he played a really eccentric character, like in the movie River's Edge. And, of course, you know, Dennis Hopper from Speed, I mean, he was known for playing villains after a certain point. I would say from the mid-'80s. Really, after his performance in Blue Velvet, I feel like Dennis Hopper kind of got typecast as the villain guy. You know, like Waterworld. Anyway, enough about Dennis Hopper. Let's talk about Samantha Mathis here. I don't know what happened to her, man. I think she's still working, but, you know, she was in, like, Pump Up the Volume and Broken Arrow. So she was good in the movie. And I forgot Lance Henriksen's in this movie, too, like playing King Bowser. So, yeah, this movie is it's not that great, guys. But, you know, anyway, those are the lobby cards. I do want to see how this movie looks in 4K, because I'm really curious. Because I think the last time I saw it was maybe VHS. You know, it seemed like I bought the DVD of it, but I never watched it. You know, it was just one of those things, like, I bought it because I just thought I needed to have it. Because I never actually owned it on VHS. I just rented it when I was a kid and never owned it until, I think, the DVD. But I never revisited it because it just wasn't one of my favorite movies. But this right here is a magazine. It's the official movie magazine for Super Mario Brothers. Lights, Camera, Fungus. So, of course, this is like exclusive behind-the-scenes secrets, apparently. So we'll get a peek at that shit. But, yeah, man, I was reading some stuff about this, and, I mean, just the production of this movie and how, you know, Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper just hated the fucking directors, you know. It was directed by, like, a husband and wife team at the time, Annabelle Jankel and Rocky Morton, who they actually did this pretty good movie with Dennis Quaid called DOA. But they were primarily known. I mean, they had done some commercials and music videos. And look at this original T2 advert with Alien 3 there. That's pretty badass. But the husband and wife director team, they were known for, like, you know, like I said, commercials, music videos. But they also created Max Headroom. And that was, you know, at the time, you know, for those who don't know about Max Headroom, it was pretty innovative, you know, innovative for its time. I mean, with the special effects, you know, the early use of, like, CGI. But, yeah, I think they bit off a little more than they could chew for this movie because a lot of people, I think, from what I understand, it went way over budget and they just shot it for way too long. So, yeah, and the screenwriters, you know, I know there was a bunch of, like, rewrites, and I want to kind of get into that, too, because I was interested to hear about the backstory of how this movie got made. But anyway, I mean, for anybody who wants to study up on how this movie got made, I mean, it seems like this package sort of, you know, it's got everything. It's got a little bit of everything. So, we've seen the lobby cards, and we looked at the magazine and the book. Now we can actually look at the actual movie here. So, this right here, before we get into the movie, I do want to talk about the script. It comes with the fucking script, and I think it's actually more than one script, too. You get, like, the actual shooting script, I believe, and initially what was written. Now, the screenwriters of this, it was Parker Bennett. Yeah, Parker Bennett and, of course, his partner Terry Runte, who was actually murdered in Jamaica. Not a lot of people know that, but that was like his writing partner. And they wrote that movie Mystery Date with, it was like that quirky comedy, you know, with Ethan Hawke and Terry Polo. If you guys haven't seen that, check it out. It's, you know, it's okay. It's serviceable. But yeah, so you get an interview with Parker Bennett in here. But then you get the actual screenplay, the spec script, I believe, and you know, they were working with the directors at the time. I forget, Annabelle Jankel and Rocky Morton. The screenwriters were working with them, and I guess there was a bunch of rewrites because there's another draft of a script in here, and I want to say Ed Solomon got involved too, the writer of, he was the co-writer of Bill and Ted, but he also wrote Men in Black. So he was involved with this as well. I think this movie had like 5 fucking writers on it total. So you get the whole script, you get the, and I'm trying to find the other script in here. Yeah, this is probably it. Yeah, revised draft by Dick Clement and, I can't even read that, Ian Lafreniere, or Ian Lafreniere. So yeah, you get a lot of shit in this package. Like I said, I don't know if this movie really deserves it, but I'm kind of down for it, guys, because I don't want physical media to die. I really don't. And, you know, seeing this kind of stuff makes me happy because it's like, you know, we're going to see more subpar movies probably get these kind of packages, especially from companies like Umbrella, who seem to be doing it quite a bit. So I'm not complaining. I just think it's kind of crazy because I never thought that this movie would get this kind of stellar release, you know. But anyway, let's get a look at the actual discs inside here. Man, this is tighter than Dick's hat band here. So there's the slip. And yeah, this is kind of a flimsy slip cover. Not complaining because, you know, you stuff it inside this rigid box. Who cares, right? It's not really like a rigid slip cover like you get from Vinegar Syndrome. So don't be expecting that shit. But yeah, so this is what you get. This is what I remember as a kid, like from the VHS cover. I don't remember all this shit, but this is basically kind of what it looked like. So, yeah, you get the, you know, you get the 4K, the 2 Blu-rays. So that's that. And it looks like, ooh, that's bent there. But it looks like you get the poster. This ain't no game. Well, they weren't lying when they said that shit. So yeah, summer '93. I do remember this. I remember this very vividly. And I was really excited for the movie. And even as a kid, I was just kind of disappointed, you know, and I think most people were. Because if you played the video game, I mean, this movie is just so diametrically opposed to the game. I mean, you know, I know people would say there's not much of a story in the game, so I think they were trying to create their own narrative with this and just make it wild and post-apocalyptic and shit. And this movie has its fans. It does. It's got a following, or else it wouldn't be getting this kind of package. But right here, you get another poster. So this looks like, shit, I don't know, some kind of foreign poster here. This could be Korean or Japanese. But yeah, I'm trying to get this whole thing in the shot here. And then, of course, Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo. So yeah, this is a fucking big package, guys. I can't stress this enough. Like, this is just more than I really wanted, you know, but I had to get it because this was a limited edition. I don't remember how many they had, but it was just one of those things that I just wanted to jump on, you know, because I don't think this movie will get this kind of release here in the States. Like I said, this is, you know, an old Disney movie, an old Buena Vista release, I believe. So we may not be seeing this kind of release here in the States. So, you know, like I said, I had to jump on it. But I'm going to put all these contents back in the box. And then we'll move on to the Hitcher. And that's what I really want to talk about, is the Hitcher. So let me just get all this back in the box. and we'll move on to the next movie. Also, real quick, before I package this all the way up, whenever I was boxing this shit back in here, I noticed that I forgot to talk about these stickers. You do get these stickers here. So, I forgot to mention that, and you also get this original film cell. Umbrella seems to do that a lot with their, their limited releases, and I can't really tell what that is. Maybe you guys can see it better than I can, but this does come with an original film cell, and I think it's cool that, Umbrella does this kind of stuff, because I remember Anchor Bay kind of did shit like this back in the day. So, very cool stuff. But anyway, I'm going to put this back in here, if it'll fit. Probably not. This thing is very stuffed. But, yeah, we're going to move on to the Hitcher. So, also, one last thing on this release, and then I'll shut up, and I promise we'll move on to the Hitcher. I forgot to mention the special features. Now, I'm not going to go through this whole list here, because, I mean, as you can see, this is just nuts, guys. You get some new commentaries, though, and some featurettes. So, if you guys want to take a look at that, you can. But you can also get on Umbrella's website and kind of get a look at these. But, like I said, this thing is stacked. But anyway, I'm not going to waste any more time on Mario Brothers. I promise that was the last thing. So, without further ado, let's move on to the Hitcher. Now, finally, moving on to the Hitcher. This is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, guys. And I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that. This is really a fucking classic. And I'm such a huge fan of Rutger Hauer, rest in peace. And C. Thomas Howell, Pony Boy. He just turns in an awesome performance. Probably his best performance. I mean, better than The Outsiders, I think. I really love C. Thomas Howell in this movie. But this was a limited edition of 500. This is 317 out of 500. So this is another one that is, it's a limited edition that is out of stock now. So you kind of had to jump on it. And I'm pretty sure Umbrella has the standard edition available now, but this is, we'll get a look at these contents in here. If you guys haven't seen The Hitcher, I mean, you really need to get on it. It's just, Rutger Hauer is such an enigma in this movie. And I can't even really compare this to things like Duel. I mean, obviously this is a road thriller, but it just has this metaphysical quality to it, like this weird ethereal feeling, It's just this otherworldly thriller. I can't really explain it, but I love this slipcover here, and like this, see how that's got that that glossy sheen to it. A lot like this. Like it's kind of like a matte finish on the box, but then you have like this, this glossy shadow here. So yeah, that's very cool artwork, and it's the original artwork. You don't have the rear view mirror here. You don't have that though. That was on the original box art. But for those who missed out on this release, I mean, Second Sight Releasing is putting out a 4K of this eventually, and like I said, this is the Blu-ray, so it's probably the the same transfer that you got from the German release. But, it's a Blu-ray. It's HD, 1080p, so it's definitely better than that HBO DVD that we had years ago. But yeah, this is a look at the inside. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of this artwork, but the movie is just, it's a fucking masterpiece, guys. Like, I'd have to say The Hitcher is like a 4.5, 5-star movie to me. There's just something about it, and it's so stylishly directed, by Robert Harmon, who actually didn't really go on to do much after this movie. I mean, this is like his best movie in my opinion, but Robert Harmon went on to direct actually another road movie that's pretty decent with Jim Caviezel. It's called Highwaymen. But yeah, that poster is pretty rad. You do get the rear view mirror there. So I like the terrified eyes. This was a very evocative image for me whenever I was a kid, and I saw this in the video store. It just looked so ominous and creepy, So I had to get it, or I had to rent it, and it was just, I don't know, it's compelling as fuck. This movie just never stops, never lets up. It's like a relentless nightmare, So that's one of the things I really appreciate about The Hitcher. But yeah, and then you have this reversible cover art here. But yeah, I mean, and this movie was it was written by Eric Red, who was like the co-writer for Near Dark, and he also, you know, he wrote Bad Moon, he wrote Blue Steel, he co-wrote Blue Steel with Catherine Bigelow, and he worked with her on Near Dark too. But Eric Red, Cohen and Tate, if you guys ever, you know, if you haven't seen Eric Red's directorial debut, Cohen and Tate, it's a road movie a lot like The Hitcher. So Eric Red, he's one of my favorite screenwriters. I really like his style, and he writes most of his stuff kind of like westerns, you know. But I mean, I can't really say enough about The Hitcher. It's a masterpiece, and you know, like I said, this release is sold out, but you can still get the standard edition. So it'll probably, like, if you go to the Umbrella website, it's probably just going to look like this. And you know, with this being an overseas release, this is a foreign release. It's an import, so you're going to have a region-free player for sure. But when the 4K, ooh, that's a pretty badass image. Sorry, I keep digressing here, guys, but that was one of the most memorable sequences of the film. It kind of turns into a big action film in the middle. It's really cool. It goes from, like, you know, thriller to, or it's like, you know, it's like horror to action to thriller, and I mean, it's just got a little bit of everything. But anyway, Second Sight, the company from the UK, they will be releasing this. Now, the last update I saw from Second Sight was that they had the whole restoration done, like down to the color grading, but they had this third-party agreement, I guess, with someone or some company. Sorry, I'm struggling with this, but we're going to get a look at these cards in a second. But Second Sight, they had this agreement with this company that, you know, they let them access the original camera negative, but they had like a stipulation in the agreement that included the approval of the release date. So eventually we will get The Hitcher on 4K, but I mean, it was promised for this year. So in the meantime, I guess this release will tide everybody over, but you know, I mean, maybe we'll see the release this year, or fuck, it might be next year. I don't know. They've been taking a long time on it. But I think eventually, when it comes out, it's going to be well worth it, because they are going back to the original camera negative. And even Robert Harmon said that he was really impressed with how it looked. So I'm really ecstatic. Jennifer Jason Leigh, I mean, she's just so hot in this fucking movie as Nash. I mean, who doesn't love Jennifer Jason Leigh? Not only is she insanely hot, but she's just one of the best actresses of her generation. I really believe that. Like, I mean, if you've seen Jennifer Jason Leigh in, you know, Single White Female, if you've seen her in Miami Blues, you know, Flesh and Blood, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Rush, I mean, Bastard Out of Carolina, she's a phenomenal actress. Hell, even, you know, in Tarantino's movie, The Hateful Eight, she shows out. And she's memorable in The Hitcher, too. And it's really upsetting what happens to Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hitcher. You know, if you guys seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, we have Rutger Hauer there. We got C. Thomas Howell looking intense. The scene in the diner, which is one of my favorite scenes. I love the almost intimate moments between these two characters. A lot of suggestive stuff in this movie that it just sort of suggests like homoerotic undertones. You know, if you've read any essays on this movie or really looked into it, there's definitely something there in the subtext between the two. But yeah, there's the gas station sequence, and there's the police station sequence. One of the most iconic shots from the movie at the very end, before the climactic ending there. But yeah, that's pretty much those are the lobby cards. But yeah, like I said, you know, Second Sight, they are releasing this on 4K, so just get ready for it. It is coming out. And if you're like me, if you love this movie, if you're a completionist, you know, you probably couldn't resist this release, even if you did know about the Second Sight 4K, because I did know about Second Sight putting this out. But this was just, when they announced this, I was like, well, I got to get that one too. I mean, shit, I just got to have it. I got a problem, guys. I don't know if you've seen any of my other videos, but if you have, you know that I have a collecting problem. But I'd like to, you know, do more curating, especially for the films that I love. You know, I don't want to just buy crap anymore. And this, I mean, with releases like this, and this is how I feel like physical media is going. Now, a lot of people say that physical media is going by the wayside, and I think that's true for a lot of mainstream releases. But for a lot of, like, the niche collectors out there who love just these old obscure movies, these boutique labels, they're really kicking ass, and they're showing out. Because never in a million years would I've ever thought that the Hitcher would get this kind of release, let alone the kind of release that it's going to get eventually from Second Sight. Old Blue Eyes, the films of Rutger Hauer. So yeah, I mean, Rutger Hauer, rest in peace. I mean, he was great in Hobo with a Shotgun. I mean, he's so fucking great. I mean, it was basically the movie that made him a star over here in the States, Blade Runner. He was really great in Blade Runner. And, you know, he was in the Paul Verhoeven movie, Flesh and Blood, also with Jennifer Jason Leigh. But yeah, this is pretty much, you know, a booklet with a lot of production notes, behind-the-scenes stuff. So yeah, very cool. If you're a fan of this movie, this was definitely the release to jump on. Although I will say that the ultimate release is probably going to be, well, most definitely going to be the 4K from Second Sight. But this is serviceable for the time being because, you know, it's a pretty stacked package. And I really like that artwork there. That's pretty badass. But yeah, that's never seen that before. Some rad artwork there. But yeah, I'm not going to talk about this shit too much longer, guys. I've taken up enough of your time. I just wanted to kind of show these releases off because I got them in earlier this week, and I figured, why not make a video? Because it's been a while since I made a video. But I haven't really gotten any new releases in lately. So when I got these, I was really excited because this is just one of my favorite movies of all time. And like I said, no hyperbole here. This really is one of the best horror films ever made. And it's just the kind of film that they don't make much anymore. Like, this movie was made at a time in the 80s where as long as you had a good spec script with you know, a lot of action and a compelling story, you know, it didn't even have to be, you know, rich with all this thematic subtext or anything. You didn't have to have all these metaphors and socially relevant themes. It was just a good story. It was just a good adrenaline-fueled thriller. And it's just, I don't know, I just miss movies like this. But anyway, that is it, guys. That is pretty much all I have to say about it. So yeah, we'll just get this back in the box, and we'll get one last look at this thing in its entirety. But I'm hoping to watch this pretty soon. I think the Blu-ray is going to look pretty good. There was no word on the transfer, you know, the HD source. But like I said, I'm pretty sure I already said this. I think it's the same source from the German release. So yeah, and the special features, you know, you get the Blonde Blue Eyes Rutger Hauer documentary, the Hitcher, How Do These Movies Get Made? I think I saw that on YouTube actually. So there's not much here, but you do get the commentary with Robert Harmon and Eric Red. And, you know, I'll be interested to see what the Second Sight release has. But anyway, that is it, guys. That is the Hitcher, and this is the 30th anniversary edition of Super Mario Brothers. So those are the two releases from Umbrella, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you don't know about Umbrella Entertainment, get on it, because they've been putting out some bangers for releases. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. You've been listening to Rich with Red Phone Video, and until next time, take care, keep watching awesome movies, and I will see you guys in the next video.